to finish. Okay, so I'm going to set up a very simple policy, deploy it to a machine, generate a message, and then we'll just look at some of the message operations. I'm going to try and record what I'm about to do here, and I'll see if I can post it somewhere if you want to review it later on. So I've shared my desktop. Okay. Right. So first thing I want to do is I want to connect to my management server. Now I'm going to do this from the management server directly. So I'm going to click on RDP sessions here on the desktop, and then I'm going to double click on OMWin1. Okay, so with OMW we've got two interfaces. We've got the web-based one and we've got the native interface. We need to use the native interface to do the administration type task. So just double click here on the operations management console. And this is integrated with your Windows login. So whatever user account you've logged into your Windows system as, that's the user account that needs to be authenticated on the management server. Okay, so what I'm going to do, just to get proceedings underway, I'm going to take you through the whole process from start to finish. So I'm going to pretend that I've got a log file that I want to monitor. I'm going to set up a very simple policy to do it, and I'm going to generate a message when a certain line appears in that log file, and I'm going to put an automatic and an operator action on that particular message. Normally when we set these up, we do it at a group level. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a node group. I'm going to associate the node group with a policy group, and then whatever nodes I put in the node group will automatically have that policy will assign to them. So I'm going to create a node group. I do that by clicking on Operations Manager Server. So I click on the top icon, go right hand mouse button, Configure, and I click on Nodes. So that's Operations Manager, Configure, and I click on Nodes. Okay, from here we've got a list of built-in node groups which come with the product. So you can see those in the Define Node Groups tab. I'm going to create my own node group, and I'm going to call it My Oracle Servers. So I go right hand mouse button, right click in the Nodes window. I go New Node Group, so that's that option there. And I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to say I want to create one called My Oracle Servers. And click OK. Now, the machine that I want to put in there, I'm going to put the OM Windows Win1 server in that group. So I just find it in the nodes group. So that's it there. And I drag it down and release into My Oracle Servers and click OK. Okay, so that's my node group created. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a policy group to store the policies the policies are basically what I want OMW to monitor for this particular application. So to do that, I expand out policy management. So click expand policy management, go into policy groups, right click on policy groups, go new, and I'm going to create a new policy group. And I'm going to call the policy group My Oracle Policy Group. And click OK. Now I'm going to create a policy. So what I want to do is I want to create a log file policy that's just going to look for a certain line in a log file. So I click on My Policy Group, make sure I've got that selected in the left hand panel. And in the right hand panel, go right hand mouse button, New, and I want to set up a policy, and the policy type I want to create is a log file entry. The log file that I'm going to monitor, I'm going to call it oracle.log. So I'm going to put in the path there, c:/oracle.log. That's the log file I wanted to open up and scan. I'm going to ask it to scan it every minute. And then I'm going to create a rule to say what I want it to look for. So I click on the Rules tab, click New, and in here I'm going to say Scan for Errors. There's a whole pattern matching language that we can use, which we're going to get into later on in the course, but initially, just to keep it simple, I'm going to say that if you find a line that contains the word error, and by default this is case sensitive, so you need to watch for that. So if it contains the word error, ERROR, if it finds a line that matches this rule, then I click on the Actions tab to say what I want to happen. So what I want to happen is I want it to generate a message. So I click on the Message button. So I'm saying if the condition is met, which is true, click on the Message button. Then in here I can specify what attributes I want to give the message. So in OM we've got some core message attributes. We've got message group, application field, object field, node severity, and the message text we want to appear in the alarm browser. I'm going to give this a message group of Oracle, and I'm going to give it a severity of critical. So just something to get us going. I'm going to leave everything else as blank so we can see what it does with it when it comes into the browser. And the next thing I want to do is I want to add some instructions to this message. So I want to tell operators when this particular problem occurs, how do they fix it. So I click on the Instructions tab, and in there I'm just going to type in, for example, connect to server and reboot Oracle processes with the following command. Okay, so that's my instruction text. I'm just going to copy that into a file that you can see clearer. So that's the text that I put into my instruction text. Then I click OK. And what I also want to do here is two things we can do with these messages, which is quite powerful. We can have automatic and operator actions. So automatic actions run when the message is generated, and operator actions allow the operator to run them on demand. So I'm going to define an automatic action, and I'm just going to do something simple like get it to list a directory. So to do that I type cmd /c dir c:. Again, I'll just type that in the notepad window so you can see it better. So it's cmd /c dir c:. So you can type in there any executable. Dir isn't actually an executable in DOS. It's part of the command shell, which is why I have to do it this way. So cmd/c. Okay, I then specify that I want the output of that command to appear as an annotation in the message. And I won't do it in this case, but I can also tell it that when that action was successful, that the message gets acknowledged or removed from the active browser. So I'm going to leave that off for the time being. Leave everything else as the defaults and click OK. I'm also going to define that as an operator action so we can see it. So I'm going to put in the same command, dir c:, click OK, click OK. Okay, so that's my message policy defined. I now need to give it a name, so I do save and close, and I'm going to call it my Oracle monitor. So I've called it my Oracle monitor. So again, I'll just put that in the notepad window so you can see it. My Oracle monitor. Click OK. Right, so far I've created my node group, added my node to it. I've created my policy group, added a policy to it. Now what I want to do is I want to deploy that policy to the node group. So I do that by clicking on the policy group, which is my Oracle policy, go right hand mouse button, and then from here I go to all tasks and I say deploy on. So I go right hand mouse button, all tasks, deploy on. And then I pick the node group that I've specified, which is my Oracle servers. So in effect, because I've selected the policy group, any policies in that policy group will automatically be assigned to any node that's in the Oracle servers group. Click OK. I may have missed it, but there should be a deployment job showing me that it's now installed in the policy. And I can check that on the server. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a DOS box on that server. So I click on the DOS box. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to type OV policy space dash list. So OV policy space dash list. And that lists any policies installed in the machine. And what I should see here in the LE section, so what I've set up there is what we call a log file entry or log file encapsulation, is I see my policy has been assigned, so my Oracle monitor, it's enabled, and the other thing we mentioned earlier on this morning is that this has got built-in versioning control, so we can see it's been tied to version 1.0. Okay, so that's good. We've now got the policy down there. In order to get it to do anything, what we need to do is we need to generate a line in the log file to match that condition. So to do that, I'm just going to use the simple DOS command echo. So I'm going to type echo, I'll just put it in quotes, error, database has shut down, redirect it to c:/oracle.log. I should put a couple of lines in there. Okay, so the command that I typed to generate the message, so to add an entry to your log file is echo error database has shut down greater than c:/oracle.log. Okay, so every minute it's scanning the log file. So all we can see now is that the message should appear in the browser. So this is to test that. I go to in the policy. If I go up here, click on expand out nodes group, I can see is red, which means there's a critical message associated with something in the node groups. If I expand that out, I can see there's actually a few of them, but I can see there is a critical message associated with the My Oracle node group. So I'll expand that. There I can see that the machine, OM Windows, has got a critical message. So if I click on that, that will automatically filter this on all messages which are associated with that particular node group. So what I should see here, if I sort it, so I want to sort it on time received. So just make the latest ones first. There we can see we've got our message. There's a critical just come in. Because I put 2 lines in the log file, it's got a duplicate. So we can see there it's got a duplicate of 1. If I double click on that message, there's the text that we sent in by default. The instructions tab contains the instructions that I've specified for that type of message. So there we can see them there. And if I click on the commands window, here I should see that there is an automatic action associated with it. You can see it was originally running, the command is just finished. Now if I want to see the output of that command, because I ticked add as an annotation, if I click on the annotations tab, here I can see that the message, click on it, and there's the output of the command. Now you'll get two annotations for an action. The first annotation tells you it's running the action, and then the second annotation will be the result of it, which you can see is that's the output of the dir command.